Scott Hilton, Scott Talks. Finished the novel audiobook Nightshade by Michael Connelly. It's a new character, Detective Stilwell. And we all know Michael Connelly's work. He's the brilliant guy behind Harry Bosch and Renée Ballard and the Lincoln Lawyer. So there's that. He has a few other characters, but he just started this new Detective Stilwell, who doesn't seem to have a first name that I've noticed. But give you a couple information on LA County Detective Stilwell, policing Catalina Island. So there's that. Detective Stilwell stationed Catalina Island off of LA, sent for punishment. Kind of like Ballard is. If you've seen the new show on Amazon, they've got the Bosch shows all over the place. They just wrapped up. And now they've got Ballard, and she has Bosch making guest appearances occasionally on the show in case you're in need of Bosch fix. And the Lincoln Lawyer show is on Netflix. So Detective Stilwell, the lead protagonist, he is a detective who has been sent to Catalina Island as a punishment for a dispute with his former partner, Ahern. He is characterized by his distrust of authority and his determination to find justice, even if it means crossing lines. I'm a little dyslexic, sorry, but that's why I do audiobooks. Hey, Nikki, the little kitty's here. Natasha or Tosh, and they call Stilwell Still sometimes, but they don't seem to have a first name for him. She is Assistant Harbor Master of Catalina and is a key contact for Stilwell, who visits her at the Harbor Master's office. And Detective Ahern, Stilwell's former partner and the source of the conflict that led to Stilwell's banishment to Catalina. Ahern is later assigned to the murder case that Stilwell investigates on the island. So that's that. It was released on 5/20/25, at least the audiobook was, and I finished it from 10/29/25 to 11/10/25. I get a little bit in doing gardening and stuff. I do some bike rides, but I don't do audiobooks. I like to stay focused. So it's a pretty good book, first book. And I did the first book, audiobook of Bosch back in the day when I was working late at night. So I decided to get some audiobooks. And Bosch was the first two audiobooks of Bosch I did. So, and I enjoyed that. And I'm enjoying Nightshade. Yeah, it's like the flower. They'll mention that in the story. But Michael Connelly, great writer, great basic detective series. You can see Netflix and Amazon going, Detective Stilwell, huh? Maybe we can turn that into something too. Yeah, they're probably already looking to cast this one. You know, first book, and they're like, yeah, we'll keep writing, Michael. Keep writing. Don't leave us hanging. The idyllic setting, introducing, because it's the first book for Detective Stilwell. A cop relentlessly following his mission in the seemingly idyllic setting of Catalina Island. But of course, there's been a murder. Yes. So, yeah, it's good. It's narrated by Will Damron. Runtime was 9 hours and 4 minutes, 54 tracks. And I enjoyed it. I did. Let's see. I got it on Chirp.
From his pocket.
That's a little voiceover. The only problem I got a deal on Chirp. Chirp's not real good at keeping up with your stuff. Audible's the king, of course. But I got a deal on it. I think I got it for $4.99 or $5.99 or something like that, which is a great deal. But I have to, and I do it to all the Audible books too. I write down when I finish, I write down the chapter I'm on and the time index that it shows, you've done 13 minutes and you've got 15 minutes and 55 seconds left. I'll write that down in my little notes on the phone. So if anything goes wrong, I did have one time on Audible where something went wrong and it started the book over. And I was like, ugh, but I had the notes, so I was able to find my place and I was good. With Chirp, you gotta keep up because it has two different apps it has to go through kind of. You have to, they don't have the deal that they have with Apple. Apple charges that Apple tax on everything, every sale on most of their things, not Uber and Lyft and not Audible, it doesn't look like, but everyone has to pay a cut because they're using Apple's app that they give them cheap and keep it regulated and keep it in the store and, you know, help with the software and stuff on it. But they want to cut. And so every sale costs money, so they have to redirect you on Chirp to the website and make the sale with a web browser. And when they do that, a lot of businesses have to do that. You know, the gaming thing that they had, Apple was in with the Fortnite people, they were doing that. Trying to have their own store where they could make sales of games by not going through Apple. But Apple had rules about not even having a link to go to that thing. So I think they've had to change that so they can have the link. But it makes it it's an extra step. So they do the extra step on the website, that's fine. They can make a sale. Even if it's Apple's browser or Google's browser or whatever, doesn't matter. Chrome, Safari, doesn't matter. But if you look, I got some of these books and you'll see 93% left. I'm back, had an alarm go off. So 93% done, but I'm finished with the book. So it doesn't keep up real well. Whether you're on the Son of the Wolf. Whoops, touched the wrong book. So it was nice to get the deal, and I kept up with it, and it was great. It was a good book. It was a good book, good audiobook. I like Michael Connelly's work, really do. And it just, the Chirp thing was a little, keep up, guy, keep up. Because I took my tablet with me. I forgot to plug my phone in, and I wanted to listen to my new audiobook on Audible, and I'll show you that. The new Harry Potter book in the Sorcerer's Stone, with full cast edition. Hugh Laurie, who was House on TV, is playing Dumbledore. They've got all these great people doing the voices. They're going to have, the first 3 books are going to have younger kids doing the voice of Hermione, Ron, and, all the actors, basically. But first 3 books will be Ron, Hermione, and Harry. And the cool thing is, and then they'll have older kids in their teens probably for the rest of the books. But the cool thing is, the girl playing Hermione in the first 3 books got the role on the Harry Potter TV show as Hermione. And we saw a clip of her reading into the microphone, and I was like, she sounds just like her, just like her. I was like, oh my gosh. So I just started Harry Potter. I'm on chapter 4. And it's been good. It's been good. I never did the books back in the day. I'm not a big reader. And I just, my wife and daughter got into it, and they got every book, every book. And we would go see the movies and, oh yeah, it was good, but they left this out, and they left this out. I said, well, that's what happens with books. They have to either leave huge sections out, combine characters, or, maybe sneak a scene in from another book eventually back in. So, they think it's a cool opening. Maybe we'll use that in one of the other movies. It's a cool opening, but we didn't have room for it in this one, but maybe we'll use it in the next movie. They can do stuff like that. So that's what happens with 2-hour movies. That's why it's neat when streaming services do like 8 episodes of a book. Look at The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. It was brilliant. And it followed the book really well. I got the book, and the beginning really followed the book a lot. Left out at 1 or 2 things that could have been a little hairy for the characters. Changed a little bit near the end. When you see her walking as the White Queen, spoiler, and you're like, the White Queen? Look at it again. When she rounds that curve where the old men are playing chess in Russia, rounds the curve, the hat, the coat, white. And you're like, oh. And if you see it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, she's the White Queen in a chess set. You're like, oh my gosh. And that scene takes place during the tournament, like a couple days into the tournament, where she meets the old men. and they closed the show off with that scene. So, and the book closes it off just a little different, but it's still, it has more going on near the end. So the book's a little different. Maybe a character's left out, not monopolized as much in the book, where they thought, this would be cool if we added a couple more scenes with this character. They did that in the TV show. But it is still a brilliant show. Anya Taylor-Joy was brilliant in it. So I got Harry Potter going, getting into it, and Dudley's a mess. I swear, that bratty kid, he's a mess in this. He's worse than you saw him in the movie. So it would be interesting to see what they do with the TV series on HBO Max, how they handle that. But they're filming that as fast as they can because, those kids get older every year. And I just saw clips of the new Percy Jackson season 2. And those kids were growing up quick. And you're like, oh, they got to keep going. Get these kids going because they're getting a little bigger. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I thought Chirp, if you want a deal, you get Chirp, but you keep an eye on it. I like the book. Michael Connelly, appreciate it. I'm waiting to see if you get a deal with Amazon or Netflix for that character, see who's going to play him. Keep writing a couple more stories real quick. You could work it out. You can turn it into something. It's like James Patterson did the Holmes, Poe, and was it Marple? And it read like a TV, basic. It wasn't, nothing blew up the end of the world or anything like that. Like my James Rollins, he's always got Sigma Force and end of the world stuff. This was a basic detective stuff, and it was like a TV show. And you're like, yeah, so what's slowing y'all up? Turn it into a TV show. But he could write a couple more books. Usually when you get several books under the belt, they turn it into TV shows so they can base the whole season off that one book. And if you've only got one book, you have to check with Connelly and say, hey, do you want to give us some plot lines? Maybe we can just write something real quick and make another season, or you keep writing your books and we have to keep getting it going. That would be neat. That would be kind of neat. But yeah, Chirp's okay. It's okay. If you're going to do audiobooks, you keep up. Whether if you're jumping to the website and have to log in, and it'll probably start you at the beginning of the book, and you'll be like, yeah. And if you're on the app, you download the book. It'll save my library. Hopefully that will keep up with you. It did pretty good. But I always, like here, this is, let's see what we've got. Because I've got, on my list of stuff, Chirp and chirp.com. What you do is you go to that square with the arrow, and it'll say save web page to home screen, and you save it and make sure name it whatever you want to name it so you'll know it. This is the Chirp app. And library, Nightshade, 93%. All right, let's give it a go. This is chirpbooks.com. There's the website. It's got my name on it. Got a library here somewhere. My library at the top. And it kept up, at least 93%. But I'm through. I'm through with the book. So, and then I accidentally started Jack London's Son of the Wolf, and it's still unread. All of them were unread. And Son of the Wolf shows pick up where you left off, shows Son of the Wolf on the app, but it says 0% complete because we just started a couple seconds, and that was it. But it's ready to play. If I hit play, it'll keep going, the Jack London book that I got real cheap. So, and that I'll bang that out in a heartbeat. I mean, that's a very short book. So it's just a short story. It's better on Audible never to buy a short story, and trying to find it cheap is a push when you put it in the wish list for Chirp or Apple Books. Apple Books is a good source, but you average out the price of Audible, and those credits cost money. If it costs you 12, 13, whatever it is, if you average it out, even if you get it for a year or 6 months, you divide by 6 and you get the total per credit. And if the book is only 2 hours long, you don't waste a credit on it. You know, it's got to be up there as 8, 9, 10 hours, hopefully, something pretty big to use it as a credit. And you can put it on your wish list. And as a Plus member, I think you get 30% off anyway. So if it's on sale at 30% off, still above that $12 or $13, then you use the credit. But if it's on sale cheaper than that credit, you buy the book. Or you put it on the wish list on Chirp for a little while and see if it gets real cheap on Chirp or Apple, and you check back in. Because I found a book on Apple for $4.99 when it was on sale. Great deal, $5.99 on Chirp. And I bet an Apple would keep up with the book a little better, if you know what I mean. So Chirp's a decent location, but keep an eye on it. You know, write it down every time you finish. Keep it, pop it down in your notes where you're at, just in case something goes south. And it could happen on any website. It could happen on Apple. It could happen on Audible. It's good to be in a general area so you don't have to skip over and, yeah, I've heard that. I know what's going on in the story. Got it. Oh, right around here. Yeah, okay, I'll just start listening again right here. And then you know, right? It's like the bookmark falls out of your book. You're like, yeah, you got to go through it. And if it's a digital book, you know, you push the little bookmark and you're like, hey, where's my bookmark? You know, what in the world? So enjoy Nightshade. And a new character from Michael Connelly. That's always exciting. So thumbs up. Get the audiobook. Get the digital book. Get the real book. You know, I recommend it. I do. And have a great day. And like, share, and subscribe. And check on some of my other reviews. And check on my notes on streaming services. How to save money on streaming services. I do a lot of videos on those. A ton of videos on what you can see, what you can get. Black Friday is just around the corner. This is November 14th, 2025 on this review. And Black Friday's coming up, and everyone's got pre-Black Friday sales. But check for Peacock and see if they have a deal. Last year I got a year's, and NBC's like the third biggest network in the U.S. Not impressive. When you got Paramount Plus, got CBS, and Hulu and Disney, you always get them together because it's a deal. It's only $1 or $2 more to get both. You get Hulu, Disney, and Hulu has Fox and ABC is the second biggest network in the U.S. So you want those shows. The NBC shows, there's some good ones, but you know, if you're watching all that other stuff, you don't have time to do everything. And you can get NBC, you can get Peacock whenever. And the Olympics are coming. Yeah, I know you may want Peacock for the Olympics, but wait it out. When Black Friday hits on, what is it, the 28th or something? Wait it out and see. They just got an NBA deal that cost a lot of money, and they raised the price of Peacock, basic Peacock. And people are like, you're not worth that much. But when they put it on sale for Black Friday this year, hopefully, it'll probably be more than $20. But if it's 25 or 30 for the whole year, I mean, we just watched the new Jurassic Park movie. If we'd gone to the theater, how much would we have wasted, you know, at a movie theater when we can watch it free at home, prop our feet up and watch the dinosaurs? And it was an all right movie. It was all right. They kind of rip off the first movie as much as they can. So the plot line kind of, you know, they were like, okay, we need a scene like this. We need a scene like this. We need something like this to happen. And that's how it flowed. But it was good. And, you know, Scarlett Johansson's always great. And so it was neat. It was pretty neat to watch and just sit at home and watch the dinosaurs. So if you can get a deal on Black Friday, check all your streaming services. If you're missing something, and most people only have 3 to 4 they pay for, because Amazon, if you got Prime Video, you probably have Prime Shipping, which means you got the thing free. You didn't really pay for Prime Video. You paid for the shipping. You want to be able to get stuff. If you got Paramount, you probably might have Walmart Plus and get Paramount free. And they have a new thing where you can give them Peacock free, or you can rotate every 3 months and have Peacock and then have Paramount Plus. But Paramount Plus is the #1 network in the U.S. Get the Paramount Plus and wait for the Black Friday deal on Peacock. And if you get it for like catch up during the winter and summer, get it in. Okay, bye.